Namaste everybody. Good evening, welcome. Tonight we're going to do a restorative sequence of movements using the traditional yoga support. This is a bolster. This is what we're going to be using tonight. This sequence of movements is a very relaxing and calming sequence of movements that are ideally done last thing before you actually head off to bed to sleep. You can do them, of course, at any other time during the day, but they are most beneficial to be done just before you go to sleep. A couple of reasons: for mental rejuvenation, calming, and helping you to get a relaxing, tranquil sleep. And from the physical point of view, we're working particularly on realigning, adjusting, and balancing the sacroiliac, pelvic, and lower back hip area. And if you do these movements regularly before you go to bed, then you can actually succeed in properly balancing and realigning and then stabilizing those realignments. If you do this over a period of about 3 weeks, every night or as often as you can during the week, then after about 3 weeks, any misalignments in that sacroiliac hip pelvic area can actually be stabilized and put back into proper alignment. And then thereafter, you can continue doing these movements on a maintenance basis, perhaps doing them at least once a week. They are also a lovely series of movements for doing at the end of any yoga class, because they're very restful. They bring you into a deep state of calmness, and they're also very good to do before you move into a meditation or relaxation practice as well. So the bolster, you will need to get yourself one of these. So you can purchase these at most yoga stores, either online or anywhere that is a specialist yoga store. Make sure you get one that's nice and supportive, nice and sturdy. Not a really soft, squashy one. I've seen some soft and squashy ones around, and they don't support you enough. This bolster is the sort of like the basic height level that is good for helping to just create a little bit of a lower back gentle flexion, or it'll help you to just get that nice little gentle arch in the lower back area. Some people may find initially that it's a little bit high, and so if you do find that, then you can perhaps start off with a rolled up yoga mat that you just place in the same position that we do the bolster. And then you can over time work up to getting to the point where your back is comfortable with this higher support. The other support you'll probably need for this is a little support for having under your head to support your neck in good alignment with the rest of your spine. And I use this a little support like this of about that height, or a cushion that's nice and supportive, but not too squashy, and not a huge pillow or anything. It just needs to be like a small cushion. So both of those things that we're going to use for this little series. So I'm going to start by putting that head support approximately where my head is going to end up, and then the bolster is going to be about halfway down the yoga mat on the horizontal to the vertical axis of the mat. And then I'm going to show you how to actually mount the bolster correctly so that you end up in the most supportive position for doing these movements. So what we do is we start off by sitting on the forward end of or edge of the bolster, as I'm doing here. So the buttocks are down sort of on that side rather than over on that side, or you're not sitting right up on top. And then you're going to very carefully ease yourself down, and it's not a bad idea just to tuck the tailbone forward and under a little bit. Gradually, one at a time, easing down onto your forearms first of all, and just tucking the tailbone forward and under, and making sure that the top edge of the bolster is going to end up around about level with the beginning of your waist, and the bottom edge is going to be level to the lower part of your buttocks, so that you're supporting that whole sacroiliac, pelvic and hip area. And then we ease all the way down, slowly with the back on the floor, and then just adjust that little head cushion so that it's in the most supportive position for your neck. Now, I will be from time to time turning my head to face the screen so that I'm actually talking to you, but once you start to get used to all of these movements, it's better to keep your neck in line with your spine as much as you can, so that we are just keeping everything in a nice straight line. So the first thing, this is the first position. You're just with your feet on the floor about hip width apart. Just relax and close your eyes. And we do a few deep, slow breaths while we allow the body to adjust to this reclining position, and opportunity just to become mindful of feeling and sensing where the bolster is supporting your hips, adjusting if you need to create better comfort, and also just checking that you feel the cushion under your head is in the best position as well. And then open your eyes, and the second position we're going to take up is with the legs stretched out, and just really stretch them out, pointing the toes away. Try and keep the hips and the knees in line. Don't allow the knees to flop out like that and the feet flop out, because we want to keep everything in a nice straight line where this is helping us to really align all of those areas along the level of the hips. And then we're going to take a deep breath in and raise the arms up over the head, bringing the arms onto the floor behind. Adjust your arms if you need to, if you have any shoulder issues, but this one is just a nice one for giving the shoulders a gentle stretch as well. Keeping the knees in that good alignment, closing your eyes. And once again, just doing a few slow, deep, relaxed breaths. So we've got this little curve, this gentle curve now in the lower back area. This is just helping to create some flexibility over time in the lower back area. And then open your eyes and bringing your arms down slowly beside you. So now we're going to do a little bit of work on adjusting the hips. So we're going to bend the left knee and bring the knee up towards the chest, and bringing your hands around the top of the knee. You can also grab under the knee if that's more comfortable. And we want to press down and hold the pressure for a couple of breaths. So we're just working a little bit more of a stretch to the lower back and also along that left hip area as well. And then breathing in, just relax the pressure, and then on the exhalation once again, squeezing down, holding that there. When you're holding, you're still doing relaxed breathing. And then inhale, release. Now we're going to take the right hand onto the left knee and just rest the left hand down on the bolster. Breathing deeply, and then on the exhalation, gently taking the left knee over towards the right a little. We don't want to go so far that we take that left buttock off the bolster. We're keeping it on the bolster. And then inhale, come back to center, bring the right hand down, left hand on the knee, inhale, and then exhale, and we're taking the left knee out to the left side this time. Once again, we don't go too far, we're just opening up the hip area a little bit when we do that. And then coming back to the center. Once again, we're placing the hands around the knee. On the exhalation, one more squeeze down, hold that squeeze there. A couple of breaths in and out. And then release. Bring the hands to the bolster and slowly stretch the left leg out. And just have a little rest in the center. And then breathing deeply on your exhalation, lifting the right knee up, clasping over the top, or remember you can do under if you need to, and squeeze down, holding the squeeze. Try and keep that left leg stretched out and foot on the floor. Just try and keep that, the right thigh pressing down towards the rib cage area. Breathing in, release the pressure. And then exhale once again, firm the pressure up, hold it there. Just breathing in relaxed breaths while you're holding. Breathing in, release the pressure. Placing the left hand on the right knee, right hand just goes on the bolster. Breathing deeply on your exhalation, taking the right knee a little bit over to the left. Just enough so you feel that stretch down through this outer thigh, but don't take the buttock off the bolster. Keep the buttock still in contact with the bolster. And then breathing in, coming back to center and swapping the hands over. Breathing deeply again on your exhalation, taking the right knee a little out to the right. So we're now opening up into that groin pelvic area, and hold for a couple of breaths. And then coming back to the center on your next exhalation, one more time, squeeze down and holding the pressure on the knee for a couple more relaxed breaths. And then breathing in, release, bring the hands to the bolster, and then stretching the leg back out, keeping those knees nice and straight in line, nice and parallel. Just relax there for a few breaths in and out. So now we're going to bend the knees, and we're going to do a little bit of inverted work now. And these will actually reverse the curve in the lower back. So we're doing nice counter pose as well. And we'll stretch the lower back in the other way, fully supported by the bolster. So the first thing is to lift the feet off the floor and bring your knees in towards your chest. Keep your hands clasping around the edges of the bolster, so you're keeping the bolster right up underneath the bottom. And then breathing in, slowly stretching the legs up, and then gently and slowly allow the legs to come down over the head as far as you can. So we want to try and also stretch the legs out as much as we can as well. And just with this one, this is a really lovely relaxing posture. It's the supported pose of tranquility, which is a little bit more relaxing and a less advanced version of the plough posture. So we just close our eyes, take some relaxed breaths in and out, Also check every now and then that your neck is nice and straight and in line with your spine. So now we're going to do a few different positions for the legs, helping to stretch the legs a little more. So we're going to take the left leg slowly down, keeping the right leg where it is. And you're taking your left foot as close to the floor as you're able to go. A little bit of bend of the knee is okay, and just resting the foot as close to the floor as you can, and the right leg stretching up as much as you can towards the hip. Just hold that for a couple more breaths in and out. If you want to stretch your calf a little bit more, you flex your foot so the big toe points down a little bit more towards your head. And then release and bringing the left leg back up. And once again, we're just going to let the legs hang over the head. Relax with the eyes closed. Just feeling that lovely support around the lower back area, which is allowing you to get that little stretch to the back of the legs. It's a semi-inverted posture, and for some people who have heart problems or have high blood pressure, don't stay in this position for very long, probably just a little bit for you, and maybe even keeping the legs further up away from the head. So now we're going to take the right leg down, doing the same thing. So keeping the left leg where it is, slowly taking the right leg down and bringing the foot as close to the floor as you're able to, and keeping this left leg working on stretching it out as much as you can. Just relax, deep breaths. If you want to, again, working the calf stretch a little bit more, flexing the foot so the big toe points towards your head a little more. Release and bringing the right leg back up. Once again, we're going to relax and bring those legs gently over the head as long as it's comfortable. Close your eyes and taking some relaxed breaths there. And then opening your eyes. So now what we're going to do is the other form of the leg splits, and again this is going to be working on stretching the legs but also working on hip flexibility and strength as well. So we're holding the sides of the bolster again, breathing in, slowly taking the legs out to the side, and you're just taking them out as far as you can go, and try and keep the legs nice and straight as well if you can. If you want to actually do a little bit more on the flexibility side, we're going to bring the hands to the groin and begin sliding the hands up the insides of the legs, bringing the legs out a little bit further to the side. And then if you've got a fair bit of flexibility, you might be able to bring your hands further up towards the calves or to the ankles, or you may even be able to catch your big toes. Try and keep the legs stretched out and make sure your bottom stays in contact at all times with the bolster. And then release, so we bring the hands back onto the bolster. So now we're going to do a version of the reclining star, and again this is a nice supported version. So we're bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet together, then bring your hands inside your knees, grabbing around about your ankles, pressing the knees out to the side as you pull the heels in towards your groin area. The toes pointing in the opposite direction, keeping your neck nice and straight, and just holding that for a couple more relaxed breaths. So this one will help to Release tension in the hips and opens up the pelvic area. It's a good one for just releasing pelvic stiffness and inner thigh stiffness as well. And then releasing the ankles and bringing the knees back in towards each other, and then hugging the knees down towards the chest. Bring your hands back onto the bolster, and we're going to stretch the legs back up again, and then allow the legs to come back over and hang over the head again. Relax the shoulders, keeping bottom in contact with the bolster. Close your eyes and taking some more relaxed, deep breaths. And then bringing the legs up more to the vertical, if they were hanging over your head, and place your left foot on your right knee, bending the left knee, and then pressing the right leg away from you a little bit more. Keep holding the sides of the bolster. Just hold that there for a couple more breaths. And then bringing the leg up and stretching the left leg, and then bending the right knee. So we'll do the same, placing the right foot on the left knee, and then bringing the left leg down a little bit, nice and straight. Keep those hands around the bolster and hold for a couple more relaxed breaths. And then bringing the left leg up, stretching the legs up. Once again, I'm doing lots of hanging over. This will really just loosen up the whole of that sacroiliac lower back area. You just relax there. And then bending the knees. So from here, we're going to just do another little bit of a twist. So you're placing, let's do that. We'll do the left side first. So left hand goes on the right knee, right hand on the bolster, and just pressing the knees a little bit over towards the left. Keep that bolster well up into the lower back area. Come back to the center, swapping over. So right hand goes on the left knee, left hand goes on the bolster. Exhale and taking the knees over to the right a little bit and hold. Just breathing some relaxed breaths. And then release. Coming back to center, placing your hands on your knees, and then doing a little rotating, circling movement. And then reverse. And then hands back on the bolster, stretching the legs up. We're going to do a little bit of bicycling now. So we're going to bend the right knee, pointing the left toes up, and then swapping over, stretching the leg up. So we're just alternating that nice and slowly. And these ones are really good for toning the legs, but they also rest the circulation, especially the circulation in the legs. So they're good for tired legs, for helping to release the effects of varicose veins, pressure in the legs, especially if you're having to stand a lot during the day. So we're going to reverse those bicycling movements, nice and slowly, making sure you're stretching the leg up, bending the other knee. And then coming back to the forwards bicycling movements once again. And then bringing the knees back toward the chest And then slowly lower the feet back onto the floor with the knees bent. And we just have that little arch again in the lower back, just resting there for a few moments while we are just allowing ourselves to come down, the blood having sort of gone up to the head a little bit, so we're going to just let the blood come down from the head a little bit. And then we're going to have a little bit further rest, so we're going to just first of all place your hands on the bolster, slightly lift the bottom and push the bolster away from underneath your bottom and let the bolster roll under your knees, bringing your lower back to the floor, and then just relax your legs onto the bolster with the knees, bolster directly under the knees. If you need to tuck the tailbone forwards and under, that sometimes just helps to release the lower back a little bit. Close your eyes, relax the arms, and just taking some deep, relaxed breaths in and out. And then open your eyes. So we're going to bring the feet onto the bolster and just allow the bolster to roll away from you now. Once the bolster is away from your feet, lift up your knees and hugging your arms over the top, or you can clasp underneath if that works better, and holding that little stretch to the lower back there. And then loosely clasp the knees, and we roll gently from side to side. And then we're going to come up very slowly because we've been lying down for quite a while, so the blood pressure's quite low now. So we're going to just roll over slowly to one side. Just relax there for a moment. And then supporting yourself, come up slowly and just coming onto the fist, one fist on top of the other, resting your forehead on the top fist, closing your eyes. And then coming up slowly, so you can either kneel up or sit back on your heels if that's comfortable for you. And thank you very much. That concludes the session, which is the Restorative Bolster series. So remember, if you want to do this series, you should invest in a bolster and also make sure you have a cushion of some sort for supporting your head so that it's in line with your spine, and try and do those movements before you go to bed, immediately before you go to bed if possible. Namaste.